Hey, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody, to the Oh No Disc Golf podcast. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you listening. It's going to be a fantastic episode. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. I just wanted to real quick introduce my best friend in the entire world, Eric Wolverton.
That's me, guys.
That's Eric. Eric, you have anything else to say?
Just really excited. We got I think we had a wonderful launch week. I had a lot of good feedback. No one was mean, so I didn't have to do any crying.
Right.
I'm really excited for our 5th episode and to start doing this weekly instead of trying to fit it all in as soon and as often as we can.
Yeah, it was a whole process getting launched, but now it's gonna hopefully will fit more into like a routine kind of feel.
Yes, definitely.
And hopefully we won't have technical problems as we have had this whole past, trying to record this episode.
Oh, there'll always be technical problems.
I think that'll
Don't you worry. As long as we get it out on Wednesday, I think everyone will be happy.
Definitely. Today we're going to be going over a few great things. We're going to be going over the All-Star recap. We're going to go over who won and all the fun stuff there. We're going to do some Las Vegas challenge predictions. Are we going to do the fantasy disc golf thing?
Yeah, I think we should just we'll pick our skip base team, let you know what we picked together, and maybe next time we'll give you how we did.
Sweet. And also we're going to go over some disc golf terms for beginners, because we realize that there's a lot of first timers listening to this podcast too, which is awesome. We definitely want to introduce as many people as possible to the sport. So we're going to go over some terms that we may have said in the past episodes that might not make sense. There's some buzzwords in disc golf that we say a lot.
Yeah, we use it a lot, like it's our second language.
Right.
Yeah, well, there was a time where we didn't understand it,
Right, absolutely. I was like, wait, what is a Hyzer again?
Yeah. What's a Hyzer and a Anheuser? Which one is which way?
Big news, guys. Head on over to our Teespring store and use the code OHNO to get free shipping. You can find the link on our website at ohnodiscgolf.com, or you can check out our Teespring store at teespring.com/stores/ohnodiscgolf. Thanks, guys. So real quick, go follow us on our social medias. We are everywhere at ohnodiscgolf. So, Eric, what are we talking about first today?
We're going to recap the All-Star weekend, kind of give you our thoughts on how it went, and tell you kind of what happened. If you guys weren't able to watch it, or if you didn't check out our last episode, it was quite a different way of doing a tournament.
The format was interesting.
Yes, there we go. Format. That's the word I was looking for.
Nailed it.
I don't know words. Kyle knows words.
No, but I got you. Yeah, the format was really interesting. There was a lot of opinions being spoken on the internet about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it. Again,
I enjoyed it too.
I wasn't expecting, it's not, it doesn't count for ratings or anything like that. It's just kind of get out there, get everybody playing, have fun is the main thing. So.
Do you think the mission was accomplished? Do you think fun was had?
Yeah. I mean, I think even, the people who weren't doing the greatest still had a lot of fun, still enjoyed, maybe playing with a partner they wouldn't, normally play with. Stuff like that. I enjoyed it very much, even if I didn't get to see all of the shots I probably would have liked to see, but.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had a great time watching. I was locked in when it was on.
Maybe by the time I start watching a few more tournaments, I realized I hated it, because it could have been just that it was finally able to watch live disc golf again. I was just pumped to sit down and watch it.
Yep. It was just, I just had that same thing. I actually posted on Twitter. I was like, reacting to somebody's negative comment. I was like, I'm just happy to have disc golf on right now. Well, how are you complaining?
Yeah. And everyone complains that they're paying for it, but if you're a PDGA member, you get it cut in half and it's only $5 a month. Otherwise, even 10, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah. With how quickly, how quickly I'll buy discs.
So
it's price of half a
$5.
yeah.
Man, take my money.
Yeah, so I'm all for it.
Right.
Even if maybe hopefully I'm helping them just grow and get better. Well, anyway, let's just talk about it. The first day on Saturday, they did the All-Star doubles. So the teams they had was starting at fourth, Ricky Wysocki and Kevin Jones ended their Saturday at even par. And then the next three teams all tied at 4 under. And that was McMahon and Dickerson, Macbeth and Conrad, and Heimberg and Gerthy. So those were, all of them were great teams. I think the only thing from what I watched that made it a little bit different is I felt like Ricky and Kevin were playing more of singles golf and just figuring out what shot to take later rather than trying to play like smart and play as a team.
Gotcha.
I don't know if you got that feeling. That's just how I seen it.
It just kind of seemed like they were having some bad shots, and it happens. It was really windy, so I don't know.
Yeah,
they weren't
doesn't take much,
right? Especially on worst shot, like it's pretty easy to have things go bad in the wind, especially when you're still trying to throw rollers and stuff.
Yeah, well, and then all of the shots that are like next to water have that really slanting away green towards the water. So all it takes is one lousy skip and there's an extra stroke.
Yep. And there was even like an upshot that KJ threw. It looked fine. And then it turns out it actually went OB. Like there was just little things like that you wouldn't even think would happen with these two players. And it really set them back for the second day.
Yeah.
But I'd had a couple really fun quotes from KJ and Ricky. Even when they were doing pretty bad, it was still pretty fun. One was like Ricky said, "Good bogey, Kev." Like he was like, "Good job," but it was still bogey. So it was, I don't know, something I would say a little like you know.
Right. If we were playing doubles, hopefully we get a chance to play a double tournament sometime.
Man, that would be so much fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, plane tickets are pretty cheap. You could fly out here really quick.
So could you. You like flying.
No, I don't.
You like flying more than I do.
Also, did you see the crazy Dickerson putt?
Yeah, the windy one.
Yep, the windy one off the top of the basket, went into the backside of the basket, which I've seen it in like a practice where I'm like just tossing putts, but I've never seen it in like a tournament before.
Yeah, that was like wind had Dickerson that day.
Right. And there was a good amount of razzing going on too, because Kevin Jones ran up to him and said, "Garbage."
Well, I mean, you gotta make fun of your teammate.
Right. My only qualm at all was that we only saw coverage from the first day from like one card on the MPO side. FPO coverage was better at the end, but it was pretty choppy.
Yeah.
So if you were like buying in just to watch FPO, I think it would be a little bit disappointing.
I think my quarrel with the coverage is on the first day, they didn't get any of one card on FPO, like didn't even seem like a one shot here or there. And then they seemed like they were splitting up MPO, but it wasn't enough to really keep track of what was going on. I fell asleep, so I didn't get to finish all of it. And I watched it in like two different parts, so I could be wrong, but that's what I remember of it. It was like little cuts here and there from both cards on MPO, but not enough to like really get like synced into it.
Yeah, I would say if there was like, a beginner player who had just gotten into the sport over the pandemic and that was their first experience to live disc golf, it wasn't a very good representation. Day 2 was a lot better, I will say that.
Yeah, I think what's kind of hard is they're trying to somewhat keep track of 4 cards, which is more than they usually do. Like normally it's like they'll keep track of the lead card and then check in on chase card and breaks. But when they're all kind of like not really, they're all like, starting even, it's kind of like you want to watch whatever you can. But I would have just preferred just record MPO and FPO for like featured cards and let it run, and then maybe get some highlight reels from the second cards.
Yeah. Well, what happened second day?
No, on the second day was a doozy. It was probably one of the best, most exciting starts to disc golf that we could have ever seen. I'm just going to do the top 4. A Coming in at fourth is he came back from his first day, Kevin Jones. He ended with 8 down.
That was my pick.
Yep, sure was. I forgot to write down Dickerson's score, but he came in third. And then Calvin Heimberg and Macbeth went into a playoff at 12 under. And all it took was one hole, and Macbeth parked it, and Heimberg threw it OB, which is pretty crazy to see. I feel like Heimberg is one of the most consistent and most accurate players. Had to fit a nice in there.
And a
yeah. I smack my lips a lot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it was insane to watch the playoff. Like, I was so excited to like get extra disc golf, and then it ended in one hole. I was like, well, that was a little bit anticlimactic, but
yeah, that's all it takes, especially when the first hole's how many feet over water? Almost 400, I think. I think it's like 398 or something.
Yeah,
all over water.
I have it written down. Let me see it. It is. Oh, I didn't write it down. Damn it.
I got this.
Good job, just Kyle.
Kidding.
No, I wrote down the average of the holes next to it, but I did not write down hole one.
Gotcha.
But it's just a sick big hyzer over the water. I think it was actually probably my favorite hole out of all of them in terms of just like, that's a great way to open.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most, I don't know if terrifying is the right word, but like
challenging.
Yeah, challenging and just like makes you think about it more than anything.
It's not an island, but to get to the pin, you're really playing with fire in terms of, water. You're playing with water. And I guess at the end, I didn't realize it, but that's recycled like wastewater.
Yep. And that's why they don't want you climbing in it.
And I saw a person climb in it
like right at the end, right?
Yeah, it was gross. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, he ain't afraid of no poo-poo or pee-pee.
But anyway, the playoff was amazing. I thought it was like a really fantastic tournament overall.
Yeah, and it's cool because they just removed the memorial from the Pro Tour. So it was nice still just to be able to see that course because it's with the fountain and everything going, it's a really, really pretty course. And it's fun to watch the pros just get up there and bomb because it's all you have to do.
Agreed.
You have to throw bombs.
You have to.
Or else you're in the water, in the nasty water.
Right. All right, moving on to the FPO.
FPO was pretty exciting too, actually. I really enjoyed it for the most part. Team 4 was Jessica Weiss and Sarah Holcomb. Team 3 was Missy Gannon and Haley King. Coming in second was Paige Pierce and Heather Young. And then coming in first for the only team to make it under par for the first day was Katrina Allen and Kona Panis.
They shot well.
Yeah, they played really well. So it was really exciting to see. Kona's I think it's going to be like Panis's like really big breakout year, especially after watching this. And I watch a lot of her stuff on Instagram. So she seems like she's really, really gearing up for a good year this year.
I didn't realize she had such a power throw.
Yeah, other than Paige Pierce, most people don't think of anyone throwing like super hard on the FPO side, but there's some bombers over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I really enjoyed seeing on Saturday was how good of a teammate Paige Pierce was to Heather Young, because Heather Young's kind of like a new up and comer. And you can see she didn't really trust herself with a lot of shots. And Paige Pierce said, I trust you. If you don't trust yourself, just, play to your strengths and we will do our best from there. And I think Paige Pierce really like embodied like how you should handle playing with people who maybe not be at your skill level.
Yeah, she was almost like a coach at that moment.
Yeah, she's really just trying to build her up and help her confidence as well as her skills.
I was down with it too.
It was pretty nice to see. I guess, when you've spent the whole off season in Hawaii, you can't come back with nothing else but a positive attitude.
Yeah, positive vibes. Yeah, she said she wants to buy land there, so.
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet. New disc golf course.
Right. I don't think the positivity is going away.
New disc golf course going in Hawaii.
Well, Eric, tell me about day 2.
Day 2 was pretty exciting too. The lead card was filled with Paige Pierce, Kat, and Kona, so it was exciting to see all of them again. But Jessica Weiss ended up coming in 4th, Paige Pierce coming in 3rd, which I originally predicted before we re-recorded. So got you guys.
Yep.
Katrina Allen came in 2nd, and Kona Panis brought in the win. And it was almost like a Paige Pierce type win where Katrina was gonna have to do a lot to be able to catch her. So that was pretty sweet to just kind of see another dominant FPO win. It just feels like everyone's starting to catch up to Paige Pierce.
It was weird watching Paige Pierce take a back seat and just kind of you could tell she was really trying to come back because she was playing super aggressively, but she ended up going out of bounds just over and over again the second day.
Yeah.
So
I think she figured out that, it doesn't, well, not figured out, but realized that it doesn't matter if she loses. It doesn't mean anything. Might as well go for highlight reel shots, right?
Right, I guess. Yeah, Kona Panis had a really sweet throw in.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what holds it on, but I remember seeing the highlights.
It was insane. Probably 120 feet. What do you think? Somewhere in there?
Yeah, something like that. The highlight was all over Instagram for a while, so I feel like I should know it, but
it was crazy. But yeah, excellent weekend from the FPO. Extremely entertaining. I would like it if it was 2 separate broadcasts.
Yeah, that would make it. I think if they get another female spokesperson to get on there with Valerie Jenkins, and just broadcast it separately, because I would go through and watch all of FPO after I was done with the MPO for sure.
Also on day 1, I think it was a little bit confusing to be going back and forth when they were on best shot and worst shot.
Oh, yep.
It was probably confusing for beginners who didn't even realize what that meant. I know they explained it at the beginning, but if you came in after that.
I think I even texted you about how I woke up and assumed Calvin and Girthy were going to win it, but it was on worst shot doubles, and I forgot that was even a thing. And I was like, oh yeah, just like I predicted, Calvin and Girthy.
Right.
Well, I predicted Calvin and KJ, but I kept Calvin and Girthy. So,
Eric, what are we doing?
We're going to start talking about the Las Vegas Challenge. We got ourselves a Skip Ace League this year, and we're making it Kyle versus Eric versus the podcast. So we're going to pick a team on air every time we can, and we'll see how we compete against it.
And Eric, what's Skip Ace?
It's the fantasy disc golf. I almost said fantasy football.
So if you've ever played fantasy football, it's kind of like daily fantasy where you have a set salary and then you pick players based off of their PDGA rating. That's the salary number. So you start with what, $6,000, Eric?
Yep, you get $6,000 each tournament, and you get to pick 4 MPO picks and 2 FPO. So yeah, it was this is our first time ever actually playing it, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited.
I'm super excited, man. Love fantasy.
Yeah, we were always kind of like making Grip 6, Pick 6 our fantasy, but now that we actually have something, this will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, should be pretty sweet to be able to track it a little bit more.
Yeah, so what do we want to start with, FPO or MPO?
Let's start with FPO.
So going to want to pick someone a little bit lower on the rating list for our second pick, right?
Yeah.
I think both of us like the Kona Star Panis pick. Do we want to go with that right away?
Go with the momentum.
Yeah, and I think she's going to have a breakout year.
Yep. And then I'll let you go ahead and pick somebody a little bit lower on the PDGA ratings.
So pick someone lower than Kona?
Do you think, or is that our lower pick?
926. I mean, it's kind of right in the middle for ratings. I think I'd be pretty happy with a Rebecca Cox. I like her as a FPO player. She's not too much higher, 929. That Alexis Manduano, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so I apologize. But she just got sponsored by Discraft. She's a pretty good female player.
Trust your gut. Just pick one.
All right. We're going with Alexis Manduahan. I'm just not even going to say it because it just makes me look worse, I think. Makes me look like an idiot. So we got 4,146 left. So that means we have we should be able to pick a good MPO squad.
Yeah, we can get chalky. We can pick some top players.
Yep. So do you want to start with the top players and go down, or bottom and go up?
Top players go down. Well,
right.
I usually don't really like going in order. It's just kind of how I think of them.
Pick what you got.
I definitely think we need to go with Heimberg.
Okay, cool. Because I wanted Heimberg in my personal one and I didn't. So now I get a bet on him in another one.
Absolutely. I think he's basically guaranteed to be at least top 3.
All right, you would think. He got first in 2019, so hopefully it brings that fire.
Yeah.
One person who always does good, and he's expensive though too. He's over his 1050 is Eagle. Eagle always does good in Las Vegas. I don't know if he'll be first, but he always does pretty good. Nate Sexton won last year. He's a little bit lower, gives us an extra 8 points.
I'm down with Eagle. I don't know about Sexton. What do you think?
I think he's been there for a while. He's been in Las Vegas practicing for a while, so I think he has a good chance at doing pretty good.
Put him on there.
With Eagle or?
With Eagle.
All right, so we got 1,000. We got to pick 1,003 rated player then.
Okay.
Which is not very easy.
Okay, well maybe take Sexton off and we can do 2 players that are a little bit lower.
Yeah, that's
but a little bit higher.
Like we could do I think we could do Kyle Klein and Ulibarri or Kyle Klein and somewhere around that.
Okay, Kyle Klein. Oh, can we do Ezra?
Yep, we can add Ezra.
Okay, we can do Kyle Klein and Ezra.
All right.
I think that's a power team.
Yep, we bet on Ezra in every aspect of it. So we're all in on Ezra.
I'm all in on that guy. He's
gonna do it.
Yeah, I hope he wins.
All right, lock in picks right now.
Lock it in. And that has been our, what is it called again? Skip Ace?
Picks.
Dang it.
It's Skip Ace.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I don't know why, but Ski Pace.
So some other things to note about the LVC, the Las Vegas Challenge, is that we just I'm kind of thinking about it. I don't know how much Kyle's thinking about it, but it'll be Sexton's first time on tour since last year. He won last year. Is he going to come back and defend his title? What do you think? I think he's got a good chance.
I guess I don't have a very strong opinion on it, so I don't really want to go in on it. What do you think? You think he's got a good chance?
I think he's got a good chance to protect his title from last year. I mean,
obviously he won it, right? So
yeah. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows the course pretty well, probably knows what he's doing there.
I think he plays a lot of smart golf. Even though he's famous for running it, I think he's smart enough to know when is a good time to run it and when is a good time to play smart golf.
Gotcha. So he's a smart golfer.
Yeah, but runs it when it's smart to run it.
I do like them Firebirds.
Oh yeah, I know. I wish I had one, but alas. Another thing I think is interesting is we will see do you think the All-Stars will have less of an advantage or more of an advantage? They already had a warm-up round. They're already feeling competitive, but
it's not that course. Yeah.
Yeah. The other players have been practicing this whole week, whereas most of them just got in yesterday or the day before that to Las Vegas. No, yesterday because it's only Tuesday, but they got in yesterday. So they have a little bit less time to play. It's going to be interesting to see. Because if you follow any of the players on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, all they've been posting is them just playing practice rounds with other random pros. Nate Perkins was just on playing rounds with Connor O'Reilly and Ezra Aderhold. Sorry, I'm really bad with last names.
Me too. Yeah, any pronunciation, I'm just I'll try my best.
something. So what do you think? More advantage or less?
I think there's two sides to it. So it was probably a good thing for like one, building momentum for like Paul Macbeth, Heimberg, people who performed well at the tournament. KJ is going to have some good positivity going on. But then there is the negative side that they didn't get to practice. And it does help a lot to do an entire week of practice at a specific course. So you can really dial in your shots. You can practice at pretty much everywhere, any shot that you're going to have in tournament play. It really is beneficial to have a lot of time on a course.
Yeah, take a lot of notes.
Most of the pros that played at the All-Stars weekend have played at the Las Vegas Challenge. So really, is it that big of a disadvantage? No, because they've probably played there before anyway. So they probably know the course. But
I feel like there's always a lot of changes to each course. I know like one, they made a triple Mando, and it's like this little, you got to go up a hill and then down a hill, but you still have to make like this small, like gated Mando. I know that's just like one hole, but they're playing, I think, 3 different courses. I could be wrong.
gotcha. So is it significantly different than other years past?
I don't know. I guess I haven't watched enough of, because it's only been like, little blurps here and there on different Instagrams showing me what's going on.
So I'd say I go back and forth on it. It's an advantage, but also kind of a disadvantage.
I feel like when you're this good, one bad round isn't gonna make or break you. I mean, unless you have like an absolute horrible round, but like one not perfect round isn't gonna make or break your chances for winning either.
True.
Today's podcast sponsor is Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. First off, it's free. Second off, you can record and edit your podcast there. Also, they will distribute your podcast so you can be heard on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It has everything that you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the Anchor app, or you can go to anchor.fm to get your podcast started today. This is what we're using on our podcast, so I can wholeheartedly recommend this, guys.
So yeah, that's pretty much a breakdown of what we think is going to be going on at the LVC. Our next topic we are going to be talking about is the different terms that we use and our understanding of them. So we may not be 100% on every single one, but it'll give you a better understanding as you listen to our podcast in the future.
Yeah, so if you were listening to like the first 4 episodes and you heard something, we'll probably cover it right here.
Yeah, hopefully we're smart enough to do that.
Yeah. Number 1, Hyzer. Easy. The top of the disc is facing away from you.
Kyle's favorite thing.
Yeah, that is literally my favorite thing. And that is with a forehand right hand or a backhand right hand. Even, isn't it the same thing for lefties?
Yeah, it'll still... Hyzer, no matter what, the disc is going to be, the top of the disc is going to be facing away from you. Sorry.
Facing away from you.
Yes.
And then we come to Anheuser, which is the opposite. Guess what? The top of the disc is going to be facing you. Easy.
How you would get like how we probably use the term flex shots. You would throw it on we'll explain all of these again, but you take an overstable disc and throw it on an Anheuser, so then it flexes back and ends left for right hand backhand throwers, and the exact opposite for left hand.
Yep. And that brings us to our next term. Eric, what's an overstable disc?
An overstable disc is a very beefy disc. It wants to go left. That would be like your Firebirds, Nuke overstables, their Nuke OSs. What are some other overstable discs that are?
So it's discs that have a high fade number, right?
Yes. Yeah, we probably should have done flight numbers first, huh?
Yeah, flight numbers are confusing for beginners, and I totally understand that. The first number, there's 4 numbers, and it's a different language, and there's actually t-shirts that I've seen that say, if you can read this, we're friends. And it's just like 4 numbers. So the first number is for speed. That's how fast you need to throw the disc for it to fly correctly.
To basically follow the rest of the 3 flight numbers.
Yeah.
The second one's glide. And that's how much distance it'll get kind of after it loses power. So like after it hits that peak, how much more time it'll spend like floating through the air or gliding through the air.
The third number is turn.
Yep.
And that's how quickly it will turn over, meaning if you throw it flat, it's going to go to the right if you're a right-handed backhand player.
So the turn is the only one I think that comes in negative and positive numbers. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. So a positive turn means it's going to fight left, right hand backhand throws. It's going to fight left, kind of like your Justice or the new Tilt. It really wants to get left
Immediately.
Yes. And then a negative turn means it's going to help you turn over and go right.
Essentially, if you have a little bit slower arm speed, you can throw it on a hyzer and it will still flip up to flat or even turn over if it has a pretty like an understable turn number, like which is a negative number.
This is like if you're trying to buy an out of the box roller, you're going to want to find something with the highest negative number you can find.
Yep. And then the last one.
So the last one is fade, and that is how far left for right hand backhand throwers it'll fade. Like normally you'll see like probably 1 through 3 normally in there. It would be like the typical ones, I think.
I think I have a couple that have 4.
Okay, I can't remember all of mine offhand, but you'll see like you won't really see like really high numbers like you would with speed, and that just means like how much farther it'll come back after it may turn or get right, how much farther it'll come back to like the center line, I call it.
And that's flight numbers. That's how you read it.
Explained by us.
Yeah. Long story short, by amateurs, for amateurs. 4 numbers that are fairly easy to read, and then you immediately know what that disc does or should do. Each
company is a little bit off, so even like certain companies may not have the same exact judging for what flight numbers are, because there's no 100% way to judge it. It's just judged per like each company judges it differently, so you're not gonna, it's just gives you a what's rough outlook of what the disc will do.
I agree with that, because you go from manufacturer to manufacturer, and some discs that like specifically I've had like an MVP disc that I thought was supposed to be more understable, but that thing flies essentially like a T-bird for me, and it has like a -1 turn, whereas the T-bird has a 0. Yep. So that's their opinion.
Yeah, it's all opinions, but it still gives you a small idea of what you're going to be doing with it.
Yep.
So back to Overstable. Overstable are discs with high fades.
Yeah. So now that you know what fade is.
Yep. It's going to go left. As far left as you let it go, it'll go there basically.
Yep. Put it on a hyzer or flat, and it'll go left.
Good headwind discs, not good tailwind discs. Good downhill discs, not good uphill discs.
Or you can be like me and just throw it everywhere.
Throw a hyzer on everything.
All the time.
Then stable is kind of in the middle. They're like your straight flying discs. Usually I would say like they're normally your workhorses. The discs you're pulling out kind of almost every other hole to kind of get a good flight out of it. Good straight flight with that little bit of left fade.
And what would you consider stable versus overstable? Is like a T-bird stable or overstable?
I think like fresh out the box, I feel like T-birds are kind of like right in between that thing, but like T-birds are made to be stable, like right, because you would say that most of your T-birds after using them for a while are a pretty big laser beam with like dependable left fade.
Correct.
Yeah, so I would say that is stable, in my opinion. Again, these are all like, I feel like all the overstable, stable, and understables are going to be kind of bias on your arm speed too.
So real quick, we'll go over overstable, but then I want to skip into plastic effects.
Okay, understable, right?
So, yep, that's what I meant to say. Sorry.
So understable are the discs that want to go right. They or roll.
They have the turn would be in the negative numbers for that.
And they're really good for learning hyzer flips. If you know how to throw in a hyzer, if you take a understable disc and you throw it on a hyzer, it'll flip up and maybe even go right. If not, it'll flip up and kind of go straight for a while. If you're still working on your form, a good disc to practice this with would be like a lower speed, mid-range, like a Comet, Meteor. Soul would even be pretty good for it. The Origin, the newer Discmania Origin is really good for learning a hyzer flip. What disc did you learn a hyzer flip with, or how understable would you say that yours was that you learned, like how to throw hyzer flips?
The Really Beaten Truth was
Okay.
because I started with mostly like DX Truths and I had a Biofusion Truth. And after a while, a Really Beaten Truth will be a hyzer flip machine.
Yeah.
So
yes, it will.
So that was my main. Lately, I've been using more of like the Meteor. I have an ESP Meteor that I love hyzer flipping with.
Oh, so in case we haven't explained exactly what a hyzer flip is, you throw it on a hyzer and it flips up to flat and either turns or comes back.
Turns meaning goes to the right.
Yes.
And actually
turns
over from flat to right a little bit, but still has a little bit of fade at the end of the shot. It's hard to explain all this stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense in our heads. Trust us.
It really does. And then really quickly, let's talk about how plastic affects the flight.
Okay. Do you want to kick it off?
Sure. Different plastics will make discs go from understable to overstable being the same mold of disc, meaning it can be the same disc, just with different plastic. It can do something completely different.
Yeah.
It gets very confusing.
Tell them about your broken Firebird.
I have a DX Firebird that has it took a chunk out of the bottom of the flight plate, out of the rim, not the flight plate, sorry. And because I threw it directly onto some pavement, like right away. And it does not fly like a Firebird in any way. It flies more, I don't know, what would you put that at?
I feel like it flies like an FT, but I've never thrown it.
Maybe like a TL3, okay, which is essentially an FD.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that. It turns and then glides forever, which doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be a
meat hook,
overstable meat hook, beefy, just awesome, reliable, but it's not. But I have the exact same disc in the Tour series, the Sexy Firebird, and it goes left so hard. It is one of my favorite, like, point and shoot. I have a few of those pretty overstable meat hook where I can get it very consistently about 275 to 260, somewhere in there.
You know where it's going to go, and that's probably one of the most important things is just
I'll never lose it.
Yeah,
but you have to essentially look at each manufacturer to how their different plastic will affect the mold.
Not only will it affect the flight right off the beginning, a premium plastic will take longer to kind of beat in and change the flight of it. Whereas like a DX or a prime plastic or anything like that, after a couple of tree hits, you might find it's completely different than when you originally bought it. Whereas like a Champion, a Lucid, C-Line, all that stuff will take a little bit longer to kind of change how it flies.
Which is crazy. Like I have a Champion Thunderbird that I got about halfway through the summer, and it is the exact same as the day I got it. There's no change in its flight. It is overstable, and it will be overstable for probably forever. Yeah.
For quite a while.
Start with the cheaper plastics when you're trying out a bunch of discs at the beginning to figure out what you like, and then buy a bunch of the same mold, like a T-Bird, but just buy it in a few different plastics. You'll get a bunch of different flight patterns out of those discs, and you can kind of figure out which one you like the best, or like which one beats in at a good rate and you like that. It's just, you can really tune in which disc you like.
And just adding on that, and I don't know how true this has always been like speculation. The flight numbers for Innova were created for DX plastic. And then when you buy like Star or Champion plastic for Innova, you have to beat it to those flight numbers. That's just like, well, a lot of people have said over the years. Again, I don't know how true it is, but
from personal experience, I would agree with that. My Star T-Bird is much more overstable than when I had my DX T-Bird. Same thing with and that was a funny story. Go back to what episode was that? Episode 3?
Something like that. I don't remember.
Episode 3 for that story.
We're talking about our oh no moments.
Yeah, we were talking about our oh no moments. It was really funny. But yeah, from my experience, Champion and Star are much more overstable than their DX counterparts. And it takes a while for them to beat into a little bit more understable. Like my Star T-Bird is finally now, I can turn it over a little bit.
Nice. You've had that. That's probably been like your longest bag disc.
Absolutely. The stamp is almost completely worn off of it.
And there wasn't a big stamp to begin with.
It's my favorite kind of disc.
I know. I don't know why you don't just wipe your stamps, but
I don't like how it looks when you wipe them.
No.
Eric, what are we talking about last today?
We're going to give you our top 5 tips that we wish we knew when we first started disc golfing.
Would have been real helpful back then.
Yeah, I think we would have got a lot better, and maybe we would have started a podcast earlier if had we started taking it more serious early on.
Absolutely. I actually looked at a thing, and I've been disc golfing since I think like 2017. So it's been almost like 4 years. I didn't realize that. I thought I had been like 2 years. Nope, 4 years.
I think you just started paying attention a lot more for 2 years.
That's how it works.
Yeah. So tip 5, and I think both me and you are just kind of starting this year with this, but play tournaments. You get to meet a lot of great people that are, willing to give you tips and help you. Also, just like that little bit of competition you have, you'll kind of like push yourself to be better in the game. I very much enjoyed my 2 tournaments I've played so far, and I really wish I would have started earlier. And there's many different divisions that you don't feel like you're not going to be playing people who are just, you're not going to be playing against Paul Macbeths. You're going to be playing against people who are pretty much your same skill level. There's all the way from novice to advanced. There's all kinds of different divisions. So you're not going to be just, coming in last every single time.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things for me at the beginning. I didn't realize that there was so many different divisions. So I was scared that I was going to be playing with really like a professional or something, and I would look like an idiot and just slow up the card. But I didn't. That was a big thing for me.
You're the best person on your card in your tournament, so
hey, turned it around, huh?
Yeah, sure did.
I want to add on a little bit to that one too. Before you go to your first tournament, make sure you read the rules.
Yep, make sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah, there's actually an official rule book that you can look up, and there's rules you can just read through. The first tournament that I played with, I had to just kind of inform a couple of my card mates, the 33-foot in rule, you can't jump. Like I had to tell him because, you are the ref for everyone else too. You're supposed to kind of like help just make sure everybody's following the rules. So I really nicely was just like, hey, just so you know, like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm not going to like give you a stroke or anything right now.
Yeah.
But just like, and if you have any questions about it, let me know. And like, if you are questioning whether you're 33 feet in, literally ask anybody on your card. Like, so it was just, if he would have read the rules, he would have known that. It would have been easier.
And then on UDisc, there is a rule book part that you can go to. And then if you sign up for PDGA to be a member, you actually get a small little pocket book of the rules sent to you. Just so you know.
That would be helpful.
Sure would. Just found that out. I got my package in. So
Number 4, don't buy too many molds at the beginning. The reason being, you want to get good at the discs that you have, right?
I think that, and it, basically you want to get good at it, but it helps you learn angle control instead of just trying to throw a different disc for a different mold for each time. You learn how to force discs into doing different shots rather than the disc just doing the shot for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You learn angle control.
Yeah, that and I think you'll lose a lot less discs at the beginning if you kind of learn those discs like the back of your hand. You'll know where it's going to go.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Yes, sure is.
What's number 3, Eric?
I would say bag less discs early on. Kind of goes with the less molds thing. But like when I first started off, before I was like serious about it, I had a regular backpack that I fit as many discs as I could afford in. And I lost a lot of discs, a lot. Probably because one, I didn't have good form. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the flight numbers were. But if you start off with only like 4 or 5 discs that you carry around, much less likely going to lose them, because you're not going to empty your bag on a tee shot trying to figure out what you're doing wrong.
Not to say it's not having a bunch of discs isn't a bad thing. Like for me, I didn't lose them because I always count when I throw. So if I throw a disc, I just count 1, throw another 1, 2. So you need to make sure you pick up 2 when you are walking down. So I didn't have as much trouble losing discs, but yeah, it is a good rule of thumb to definitely not have as many.
Yeah, just I feel like it makes you a little bit less carefree, because you're like, oh, I got another disc for that. But if you don't have another disc for that, you're gonna want to find that disc.
True story.
Yep. And it just gives you time to kind of figure out what part of your game you're missing. Like what disc you need or what shot you need to add in to your bag, instead of just like having all these discs with you and you're not really sure what each disc does for you, kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, I just have them all, so I don't lose one or something like that.
Moving on to number 2.
And I think both me and you are advocates, and I'm sure most people listening have heard this from people before, but throw putters or throw lower speed discs at the beginning.
Absolutely. You don't want to start off by throwing a 13 speed driver.
That's what we did.
That is exactly what we did. And Eric, how many trees did we hit?
A whole lot. I still hit a lot of trees. Don't get me wrong.
I still hit a lot of trees too. Not typically because I'm not playing a lot of wooded courses, but like, I'm still more of a sprinkler, but yeah.
I think I know this is what in my head I thought. I see distance driver and I seen the highest number, so I assumed that's what disc I had to throw to get the
farthest distance.
The most distance out of it. And I'm pretty sure we couldn't be farther from the truth.
Yeah.
I mean,
so putters will be able to handle a lower arm speed a little bit easier, and you'll have more control with that. Whereas if it's you go grab a 13 speed driver, it's kind of like, starting with a little kid and throwing them into a race car and telling them to drive. It's not going to work very well. You have to start them on like a little tricycle.
Yeah,
then a tricycle is a putter.
It's just science, okay?
Right.
And also, when you start with putters, they will show you more of what you're doing wrong. Whereas like 13 speed, even like the most understable 13 speed driver, if you don't have the arm speed for it, it'll still come back left. But if you start with like 5 to 2 speed mid ranges and putters, that'll show you kind of when you're rounding, when you're turning your wrist over, all this other stuff that you won't notice in a driver, and you'll just think you're getting better, whereas really you're just kind of building more on those bad habits.
This is laying a foundation for good habits.
Mm-hmm. And then as you start to really bomb those putters and bomb those mid ranges, you can start to add like those 7 speeds and the 8 speeds and the 9 speeds. And once you have a good understanding of what you're doing, start throwing in them distance drivers that you've been dying to bag.
Like it's been 2 years for us, and I've literally just now started adding in like a high speed driver.
Yeah. I started off with a bunch of 13 speeds, got rid of I think everything under 7. I think I had like FD was the only 7 speed, and then I had a River Pro and then mostly Truths. Like Truths was both mine and Kyle's workhorses for a long time as we tried to figure.
So yeah, a little asterisk here. Buy a Truth.
Yes. Or if you like Discraft, you can buy a Buzz, and if you like Discmania, you can buy an MD3. But Truths were our thing. EMAC Truths. I don't think there's any better mid range out there.
Agreed.
It feels good in the hand. It's got tons of glide. It's just like the perfect disc almost. Now Kyle feels that way about Thunderbirds.
I still bag for Truths. So
yeah,
that's my mid-range of choice
because they're so good. And tip number 1, I think, kind of goes with the you'll learn from throwing the putters and throwing the mid ranges is throw smooth and not hard. If you guys have never watched Danny Lindenhall, his number 1 saying is slow is smooth and smooth is far. And if you can build a nice smooth rhythm, it'll be much better than you standing up and trying to kill the disc. A million times better.
I didn't know if you were done. Adding on to that, I think having a really consistent walk up and like this, you do the same exact thing every time. You can do this by recording yourself too. That's one thing that I would do to see if you're overexerting and like putting energy into the wrong places. And you can compare that with what pros are doing through like research on YouTube. And I think that has really helped my game personally out a lot. So I think it'll help out your game too by just like, paying attention to what your body is doing.
Yep, breaking it down in slow-mo and putting it next to pros. I would push people away from trying to exactly copy pros, because when they're throwing hard, they do stuff that as you're fixing your form, you shouldn't do. But just like taking like, certain throws that they can throw like no problem, like the 350 foot shots, they're not trying to kill it. So those are the ones you want to copy. You don't want to copy the ones where they're throwing 500, 600 foot down the fairway, because that's when they are kind of doing a bigger X step than I would suggest starting off with.
I'm with you.
Are you? I thought you were in Colorado.
Well, that was a good top 5.
Yeah.
We should do like a little intro. Like we should try and both say top 5 at the same time. Top 5.
Oh, right now?
I don't know.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Top 5.
Top 5.
That went great.
Nailed it. Oh, wait, we should do the whole thing. Like top 5 beginner tips.
All right, ready? 1.
Yep.
On go or 3?
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, on go.
Go on 1.
Go on go.
Oh, on go.
3, 2, 1. Top. All right, on go.
One more try.
3, 2, 1, go. I don't know if it's gonna work. What if I just say it and you say it?
No, one more time.
Right.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Top
5 beginner tips.
I thought we were doing it really excitable.
Oh yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Top
5 beginner tips. Oh yeah.
I didn't do an oh yeah.
That one was perfect.
You didn't tell me to say oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh
right.
Yeah. All right.
Closing remarks. Don't forget about our Instagram giveaway.
Well, Eric, I had such a fun time recording this episode.
Yeah, I think it was fairly more enjoyable doing it in the morning, drinking coffee together, just like old times.
Yeah, man. Because like we used to just disc golf in the morning all the time.
Yep.
It's my favorite time. Really.
Who picked up the coffee? That's all we needed to know.
That's it.
But yeah, it was nice going over the All-Star weekend and giving you our predictions for LVC. I enjoyed the beginner episode we had, explaining some terms and then hopefully giving you guys some tips to help your game.
Yeah, hopefully you guys found that helpful in some way, and you can take whatever we said and try and apply it to your game.
Yeah, if it doesn't help you, then just ignore us.
Yeah, and if you found us super annoying, let us know in the comments.
Yep. We're still fixing our game as well as our podcast. So
That's it. Amateurs all over.
yep. If you guys aren't following our Instagram, there is our own little starter pack giveaway that we kind of built with Discmania discs that we're giving away. So head over to @ohnodiscgolf and find the post and just follow the directions there. You just got to comment 2 friends and follow the page, and you'll be entered to win 3 discs.
Everyone likes free discs. That's @ohnodiscgolf on Instagram, guys. 3 free discs.
But you can follow us anywhere, and if you message us, we'll make sure we can send you the post to help you find it.
Bonus entry with a review of our podcast on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that helps us out a lot. If you guys know someone who has Apple Podcasts, even if they don't listen to it, if you can just go on there and rate us 5 stars.
It literally makes my day. So yeah, go on everybody's phones and your mom and dad's phone.
Random person on the subway, see if they got Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, let them know. Well, Eric, got anything else?
I think that's it. Hope to see you guys next week.